Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. Let's wait for more people to connect. Hola a todos, hola a todos. Muy emocionado de tenerlos a todos aquí. Déjame estar monitoreando el link del evento. Ya veo que tenemos 33 personas conectadas. Al final del evento va a haber una fiesta, o sea, después de como dentro de media hora, 40 minutos, vamos a hacer una fiesta donde vamos a separar las audiencias en dos. Los que hablan español y los que hablan inglés, para que nos conozcamos mucho mejor los que vamos a seguir en esta aventura del vibe coding, ¿no? So at the end of the event, we're going to have a warm-up party, a networking party, where we're going to be giving giveaways. I think Windsurf is this coding editor that was just bought by OpenAI for $3 billion, and we're going to give away free Windsurf licenses for 30 days, and from another vibe coding product as well that I'll be mentioning during the event as well. So stay with us for the networking party at the end, so that we can celebrate more vibe coding and start getting more into this world, right? I see that the WhatsApp community it's active today, and we have almost 400 people here that RSVP to the event. We are having some technical problems with the translation. Tenemos unos problemas con la traducción a español que queremos activar, pero si los logramos resolverlo, la vamos a activar, porque esa era la idea. De todas maneras, yo obviamente hablo muy bien español, Male también, y todos los que estamos aquí, así que cualquier pregunta que tengan la podemos leer en español y responderla, pues. Así que bueno, muy emocionado de tenerlos aquí. Vamos a seguir dándole un ratico más, unos minutos más a la gente para entrar. Sí, well, my experience with Windsurf is super cool, actually. I started just, like as a background of myself. Been coding for a long time now. I think more than 25 years. I don't want to say it anymore because it's just too much time. And I started coding with AI about, I don't know, like 8 months ago, something like that. And as I started using first Copilot, obviously, the auto-completion tool, like most of everyone. And then I had a resistance to switch from GitHub Copilot into Cursor or any of the other platforms, like anyone, that has a resistance. And I obviously think I made a mistake. Like, I think in the world of AI, what matters is that you are in the latest of the latest of the latest and the most amazing feature, because it's what's going to save you most of the time. Like, the difference between one and the other are so big that it's really worth being on the latest one. And it's worth paying for those, I don't know, $10, $15 or $20, depending on the platform, right? Any software developer that has lots of experience coding and it's here to learn more about AI, or we have mostly junior developers? I wonder what type of audience we have. I think I may throw a little poll. Okay, it's been 5 minutes already, so I think I'm going to start. Yeah, let's start. So Male, you wanna come in as well? Because I feel like
Hello. You felt lonely?
yeah, I feel like it's more interactive if we're here. I mean, you can interrupt me with questions from the audience when you see that there's an interesting question to mention. Okay, so
Okay.
I'll start. A second. Okay.
There are a lot of people from Latin America, California, Barcelona.
I think people can see my screen, right? Yes.
Now they can. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we're all here. We are all here for the same reason. I'm actually here for the same reason as you guys, um, because I'm also very eager to continue learning about vibe coding. I think every month in vibe coding feels like, or in coding with AI, feels like a whole year of learning and coding. Like the velocity is really quite overwhelming. Like I'm really overwhelmed with the amount of things, but we should not be overwhelmed. We should try not to be overwhelmed because if we don't keep up, then that's when real problems are gonna come. So my first like message that I can give you is that um, having already lived a similar revolution or a similar, let's say, technology breakthrough like the one that we're seeing today with AI. I saw the breakthrough from the .com bubble where HTML, CSS, and everything started exploding. And I also saw how React changed the front end industry, and a lot of developers were late for the party. So my recommendation for all of you, if you're here, I already give you some congratulations because this is the way. This is the way. The way is to be here and show up and continue learning and continue being curious about this because we, the ones here today, are going to be first on this new era of coding with AI, and I think this is gonna pay off amazingly to your career. I was speaking with a developer last night that is really concerned about AI and things like that. But I was telling it, like, if you are in getting up to date with AI, and if you switch into this new era and you become something like an AI first developer, instead of being scared about AI taking your jobs, you're going to be so early that you're going to be waiting for new jobs to open because companies don't keep up as fast as we do. So the events, the job openings will open. You're going to see them open in front of you. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that, about job openings with vibe coding as well. So yeah, congratulations everyone for coming. So while we're here, I do wanted to validate that there's this Andriy Kaparsky. Anyone knows who Andriy Kaparsky is? André Karpathy, actually. ¿Sabemos quién es André Karpathy? So yeah, so basically he is one of the creators of OpenAI. Not the founders. No, he's not a founder, but he was one of the first hires. And he was one of the best engineers of OpenAI. And then he switched to Tesla. He was hired by Tesla, so he dropped OpenAI. And after creating the early stages of the models of OpenAI, then he created the early stages of the Tesla self-driving technology. So he's a very legit and important engineer in the world of coding and in the world of AI. And he was the one that created this term vibe coding. So, as a reminder, we're going to have at the end of the event, in about 25 minutes, something like that, we're going to have split the group in two, and half the group will be in a Spanish only networking group, and the other half will be in a English first networking group, so that we can continue in separate rooms and do the giveaways and the prices and everything, and the rest of the networking. So hang in there so that we can get into the networking part later. So yeah, Andre Capardi was the one also that created the vibe coding term, because he's been coding with AI since 2 years ago, and with all this experience that he had, and he kept tweeting about it. He's actually very active in YouTube. I encourage you to find Andre Capardi YouTube channel, because he's very active on it. Actually, I think he's just a YouTuber now. He decided not to continue pursuing engineering roles in these big companies, and now he's doing YouTube. Yeah, so basically he created the term vibe coding, and that started a revolution. And there's a bunch of hackathons happening now. Actually, we're going to announce a hackathon that it's happening about vibe coding with I think it's a 5K price, where you can just build stuff without coding, with vibe coding, and you may get the prize. Who knows? Like that's the exciting part, on participating on these hackathons, to learn, and maybe you get the prize. But yeah, he created the term, and then a bunch of hackathons started happening. So the people from Bolt, that it's a vibe coding tool, gave a prize. I think it was a $1 million giveaway to the whoever won the prize. And then there was another one done by Lovable, that is another tool. And then there was another hackathon. It's like all of these hackathons happen pretty fast, so that's what made vibe coding such a big term. And now all the companies in the industry are taking part of the vibe coding revolution, let's say. And I think it should be taken seriously. I'll explain why. But first, let's see, why are we really here? I'm gonna publish this poll. Esta es una poll que quiero publicar, una encuesta, para que la respondamos y veamos por qué estamos realmente aquí. So, les pido que escaneen eso. Voy a poner el link también en el YouTube. A ver, aquí está. Aquí está el link. Para que respondan por qué why are you here? Like, ¿por qué están aquí? Y vamos a ver los resultados en real time. La primera opción sería: estoy emocionado de aprender sobre IA. La segunda: no puedo encontrar mi primer trabajo como programador. La tercera es: tengo miedo de que la IA me quite mi trabajo. La cuarta es: la IA ha tomado mi trabajo, ya me lo quitó. Y la última es que yo vine por la comida y las bebidas. So, why are you here?
Ale, por aquí Jonathan dice que ninguna de las opciones, que quieres ver lo que puede hacer el vibe coding.
Well, I guess that will fall onto the first one, I guess. Yeah, like curiosity. Yeah. So I think this is exciting. No one's scared about AI, so that's great. That's great to know.
Here's someone saying that they want to create a project but cannot afford a programmer.
Well, now you can, I guess. Now you can be your own programmer.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on, and we'll check these results later. Voy a seguir avanzando y chequemos los resultados luego. Okay. So this is a chart that everyone's scared of now, this lately, about not having enough job openings in AI. And this is pre-COVID. If you don't remember, this part here is before COVID, and then obviously COVID froze all the hirings, and then we had a spike because everyone wanted to hire developers because now everything's going to be online, and then now it's not going to be online. So we'll see. And if you look at this chart, you will think that software development openings are at the lowest they have ever been. That is what you may think. And that's kind of true when you think about software development as a position, like software development. But the way that the Department of Labor measures job openings is I think it's too strict. It's not very flexible because they don't include in here other positions that are also software development. Maybe I'm not sure about quite the names, but maybe let's think about like web development not being included in the same position as software development. But it's definitely quite telling that this graph is still true. Like it is still true that up to 2025, it feels like there's the software development jobs are still decreasing. But there's another chart that it's also true from Pragmatic Engineer. So there's the link right there. You can go to that link that is on the slide, where it shows how since the bottom on 2023, the software development jobs or the tech jobs, let's say, the jobs taken at startups and tech companies have been increasing, and there has been a 40% increase in hirings. So technology is still being developed. Software developers are still going to be needed for a long period of time. So we're already up 40%. 40% is a big number if you think about it. I mean, we're not at the same level where we were at after COVID, where everyone was hiring software developers, but we're at a good level. So I don't think it's a doomsday scenario for software developers. And I already searched for I was doing a search the other day, like last week, on vibe coding jobs. And there's already very interesting job positions out there. Like most of these are startup, Y Combinator startups that have published vibe coding jobs. And I think the reason Y Combinator startups publish this type of jobs is because they are the early adopters. So if you see that new waves of startups of future 1 billion companies or future unicorns are hiring vibe coders, then it's a good sign that the vibe coding market is going to go up. It's going to go up and more positions are going to start existing. So I would suggest taking seriously this position and thinking about it as, for example, you can think about it like it's an alternative to becoming a front-end software developer or designer. Maybe designers can also now do some websites. So yeah, it's a real job position that companies are publishing now, starting to hire, and quite good salaries if you ask me, like 120K a year, 180 a year. So that's good salaries for the United States. Like if you ask me, I thought it was going to be 65K a year. Like 65K a year is more like the average salary for a position in the United States. But no, some of them are 120, 180. And we even got Visa hiring for a vibe coder. And they don't call it vibe coding, obviously, because they need to tell the board members of Visa, they need to justify how they are going to hire someone that doesn't know about coding to do the coding websites and stuff like that for $120,000 a year. They don't want to call it vibe coding. It's not very serious for them. But if you go to the job position that it's here, I'm going to publish the link. If you go to the job position, you will see that they mention vibe coding in the actual job position. It sounds like a meme. Vibe coding sounds like a meme. I think eventually we will have a better name for this, but right now it's vibe coding. So yeah, Visa is taking it seriously, as these other many companies. But what's the real meaning of vibe coding? The reason I'm really excited about vibe coding and like what it means as a software developer is because I think vibe coding represents my original values. This is a manifesto that was published online. I really like it. I'm going to share the link. The Vibe Coding Manifesto. Here's the link in the chat. So when we start reading about this absolutely makes sense. Like flow over friction. So ride the wave, don't fight it. It's basically going with the flow, right? Like just don't start hating or resenting technology or resenting new technologies. Just embrace them. What I was saying at the beginning of the event, right? Then iteration over perfection. Iteration over perfection is something that is being said since a long time ago in the startup world and in the technology world. Like, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Just iterate, and you will eventually get to a good level. Like my slides today. My slides are not perfect, but I am able now to convey my message, right? So iteration over perfection. Then augmentation over automation. So another thing that vibe coders should embrace is this is not here like to replace you. AI is not here to replace you. It's to make you more powerful. And I think we already heard this phrase before, like this is not here to replace you, it's here to augment you. Another thing that is very vibe coding is thinking about the product instead of the code. And I'm going to ask you now a question that maybe will click in your mind. Has it ever happened to you that you're building something, you're coding something, and then someone else, maybe your boss or a client, will tell you that it doesn't need it anymore, and then you get mad? Like you have been working hard for this, and then it's not needed anymore, so you get mad because I was the one building this. So it doesn't happen to me anymore. This doesn't happen to me anymore because I understand that what I'm building is for the users. And if it's not needed anymore, it's because the requirements or whatever idea I had before was not right. So why would I get mad? I'm actually happy because now I can do the other feature that is needed, and instead of being stuck with a functionality that no one needs. So that's vibe coding. Vibe coding is, let's think about the product instead of thinking about how you build the product. So a vibe coder will need to be very good at product, not very good at coding. No, very good at product. It will need to be very good at copywriting, not maybe like super good, but good enough. No more lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum should die. And no more ASD. You know, ASD, when you do like this in the keyboard just to fill the text. ASD, ASD, ASD. No more ASD. So think about the product, think about the user, have real information in the product. And then another principle of vibe coding, another important part of vibe coding is, now with AI, it may be better to redo the entire thing instead of just fixing the bug. That's also an important part of coding. It made me laugh. Someone said, "Calm down." Tanner. Okay, I'm going to try to calm down. I'm sorry. I get passionate about these topics. But yeah, so redoing the entire thing, it's maybe better than fixing the bug. So why bother, you know? You may, some books you want to fix, some books you don't want to fix. And then human taste over technical constraints. You know how every time you sit in an engineering meeting, everyone's just putting limitations and talking about how this cannot be done, or how many things have to be put in place in order to achieve this or to deliver this feature. I think that's also not that relevant anymore. And I know that a lot of people may be getting mad of everything I'm saying, but there's a part of the company that can behave like this. I'm not saying that you're going to put a vibe coder in your I don't know, in your point of sale inside, like creating the software that it's gonna process the transactions of a bank, or making sure that an operation in a hospital works. I'm not saying that vibe coders are meant for that, but vibe coders are meant for other things. So it's a new position. It's a real position with real skills that has been created in the market. And this doesn't happen often. I think we will get a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse more often than new software development positions created. So this is exciting. It's exciting to have a new job position and a new set of skills that everyone can come and rush and fill in. So yeah, that's how exciting vibe coding is for me. And eventually we will get a better name for it. Obviously, it's not going to be vibe coding. I think it's going to be something different. So these are the vibe coding principles. I think I don't want to read them all. I don't have much time either as well. So these are the principles. You already have the link. So just get into that link and read the principles and embrace them. And then another thing I wanted to leave here before we give access to. And by the way, Male, you need to tell me if someone's in the room or no.
Yeah, Rohan is waiting, but
Cool.
Sorry.
But Rohan is at 6:40, or that's it, I think. Let me double check for a second. Let me vibe double check here. Yeah, so 6:30. Well, we can swap it then. If Junior is not there, we can swap it. Okay, cool. Okay, so one of the last things I had to say about like this introduction about vibe coding is how a lot of people are getting mad at vibe coding because it doesn't really work. It's you start coding. This is how progress feels when you're vibe coding, when you're coding with AI without actual coding, right? It feels like you're making a lot of progress super early, and then you become stagnant at some point. So this is normal. This is part of the process, and I think there are many methods to overcome this problem, and the course is going to be about that. There's many methods, like memory banks. You can create memory banks. You can create context rules, and maybe Rohan can talk a little bit about that as well, because Rohan, the next speaker, comes.
Wait, sorry, Ale. Junior just entered the room, so I think we're going to keep the schedule.
Yeah. Well, cool, but what I was saying is Windsurf, that is one of the tools for vibe coding, and also it's like for software engineering with AI, so it's also for more like larger scale projects, has a lot of tools that you can use to make your code be less buggy and to prevent this problem that I'm showing in the screen to happen, so that you don't get stagnant with all the bugs, and then you can continue having a good code base as a software developer that has all the problems fixed. And we're going to address all of this in the course that it's going to start in 2 days in Spanish and in 7 days in English. No, the opposite. In Spanish, we start in 2 days, and in English, we start in 7 days. I'll share the links. But yes, we're going to take serious the process of coding with AI. We're going to take it very seriously. We're going to develop methods and strategies to overcome this problem, because it can be overcome. And there are most of the Magnificent 7 companies are already generating 35% of the code, they said lately. Like this was said by the CEOs and stuff. So it is something that has to be taken seriously, and you cannot just do one prompt and fix everything, right? So that's not how it works. It has a method. So we're going to be addressing that, and we're going to be launching an entire product with copywriting, with marketing, with design, so that we can cover all the steps that I think a vibe coder should have to succeed in the world of vibe coding and in the job positions that are being meant. So I'm going to take answer questions later, but for now, let's just open the mic for Junior. You want to bring Junior in?
Hello, everyone. I'm Junior Garcia, and the founder and CEO of Hero UI. Thank you so much, Alejandro, for inviting me today.
Yes. Junior is from Venezuela. So he speaks fluent Spanish as well, obviously. And if you guys want to ask things in Spanish, you can also ask it. Junior will be able to answer. But when I met Junior, I was really excited about it because we have a Venezuelan startup company in the world of pipe coating. And also, when I discovered your background, I was excited about it as well because it's great to have great developers in our in Latin America building such amazing things. So just if you wanna introduce more yourself and what your product does. I haven't told anyone because I wanted to make it like a surprise. But yeah,
Yeah, sure. Well, I feel grateful to be here today and to be among so many talented teachers and also Venezuelan community. And yeah, to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been creating software for almost 10 years now. I created one of the most popular UI library in the React ecosystem that is called Hero UI. In the past, it was called Max UI, but we just rebranded it to be Hero UI a couple of months ago. It currently have over 22,000 stars on GitHub and 600,000 downloads per month. It's used by thousands of developers across the globe as well.
you wanna?
And
I'm gonna share the link so that people can check it out
oh,
as you speak.
thank you. Yeah, it is heroui.com. Um, we also went to YC last year in the summer 2024 bash,
Give
and
me a second.
we
Give me a second. I wanna give you some context because you're speaking, and maybe people don't understand. I'm gonna continue sharing the screen just to show you YC. YC is Y Combinator, just so that people know.
later.
Y
Yeah,
Combinator is an incubator. Are you sharing? Who's sharing? I am sharing. Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
you sure? Yeah,
Yeah. So Y Combinator is this place where all these startups were built: Stripe, Airbnb, Instacart, DoorDash, Cruise, Coinbase, Dropbox, GitLab, Rappi, Zapier, and people from Venezuela, Yumi, and
you mean.
yeah, I actually don't know from other places of Latin America, but I'm sure there's plenty. Well, Platzi. Platzi was built, or it wasn't built. It went through Y Combinator as well. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's you know any Latin American startups from YT?
I met a couple of founders during my batch that they were from Mexico, also from Colombia. They were building something called Contigo. But yeah, very few founders from Latin America. I think what Y Combinator is more focused on the US companies, but definitely always there's very good talent there. Um, and
What
yeah,
about
we
Spain? There's a plan. There's Do you know anyone from Spain? Any startup from Spain? We
from
have a big
Spain,
audience from Spain too.
I think there was I think what was a combination of both from Spain and France. They were building something called Plume. They were trying to clean the air from the plume that it had the contamination. But yeah, I don't remember one specific startup from Spain.
Cool.
Uh, but
So
for
yeah,
sure, there were like 200 companies in the batch for 3 months there. So for sure, most likely someone from Spain were there.
right. Cool. No, continue explaining about Hero.
Yeah, of course. We also just launched Hero UI Chat, which is, in my opinion, is one of the best vibe code platform that you can find on the internet right now. It basically creates beautiful interfaces by default. So you just ask, and Hero UI Chat creates the whole application. But not only create the application, it also focuses a lot on the design of it. And it uses under the hood our components, our more than 300 components that we created over the course of almost 3 years now. So yeah, we are focusing a lot to basically make Hero UI Chat the best platform for creating beautiful applications by just connecting your Figma account or by just like sending a prompt or uploading an image, and it understands everything from it. Then I basically our mission is very simple. We want to enable everyone to build beautiful applications, beautiful and well-designed applications by just prompting, by just sending what you want, and Hero UI Chat does the rest without needing a tech thing or without waiting weeks, without basically limiting your creativity. So I think what you're doing here, Alejandro, is great. I mean, you are one of the. I think this is the first course that I see about vibe coding. To be honest, and I think this is something quite new, and you taking the decision to teach this to the next generation of vibe coders, developers. It's a key insight that can help them build, I think, a lot faster uh, than, than before, right?
And you told me that actually companies, you have a bunch of companies that are using Hero Chat, and they
Yeah,
basically, like for example, some of them decided not to use their designer anymore and focus on building
yeah,
their prototypes with Hero UI, right?
yeah. That's true. We are helping a lot of YC companies, and one of them basically they decided to not continue working with the designer that they had, but it was a contract, I believe, because they realized that with Hero UI Chat they could build the application that looks really good from a couple of fronts. So they were more focused on the engineering side of it instead of being focused on the design part of it as well. And yeah, I think that's where we're going basically. AI is transforming everything. AI is making our life easier, and we're leveraging AI to also make website looks a lot better than it looks.
This is the website. I don't know if you know, but I'm sharing the screen. I
Oh
showed
yeah,
how Hero UI Chat created this store. I asked it to create an online store, and here it is basically. So I think
yeah.
it,
You can iterate over it as well. Like you can create different pages. You can add everything. You can also select components and ask Hero AI Chat to modify it. So yeah, we've been working a lot on it lately. So,
yeah, I can see this wasn't here like 2 weeks ago, was it?
no, we just launched that. I think it was yesterday. We launched the select and edit.
Yeah, it's moving so fast. That's great, man. And you have any like have companies approached to you looking for vibe coders, like looking for people that that know how to use this and they want to hire them?
I think not yet. I think most of the customer that we currently have, they more focus on creating their own product. But probably it's an opportunity for you. Like you're creating the next generation of bike coders. So I think a lot of companies gonna reach out to you to hire some of these talented people as well.
Yeah, cool, great. Is there any advice you would give? Um, let's have one question in Spanish since we have such a big audience in Spanish as well. Like, ¿tienes
Sí, claro.
algún consejo que le darías a las personas que están queriendo iniciarse en este mundo y aprender sobre generación de código con IA o vibe coding que se involucran menos en la parte del código, pero ¿tienes algún consejo que darles? ¿Qué pasos seguirían?
Sí, claro, en cuanto al bytecode como tal, es algo bastante, yo diría, nuevo. Herramientas como Hero UI Chat ayudan a que las personas puedan llevar sus ideas a hacerlo una realidad, ¿no? Mi consejo ahí sería más que todo como no esperar que desde el primer prompt tengan la aplicación perfecta, ¿no? Porque aún no estamos ahí todavía. Sino, creo que lo mencionaste antes, que es un proceso de iteración. Obviamente, nosotros estamos haciendo que esa iteración sea lo más corta posible. eh, Pasar de días a horas o de horas a minutos, pero que no se desesperen, ¿no? Que vayan con calma, que prueben muchas cosas y que también tengan un poquito de paciencia en el medio, que ya de por sí, yo recuerdo hace 2 años cómo creábamos aplicaciones y era algo de estar semanas, estar meses, ¿no? Creando aplicaciones. Hoy día la AI nos está ayudando muchísimo a reducir esos tiempos de meses a semanas y de semanas a días. Y lo que buscamos es que esto sea de días a minutos. Así que nada, mi consejo sería no se desesperen, tengan paciencia y créanme que hoy día es mucho más sencillo que como era hace unos años.
And they're asking a lot about possible coupon codes. So
Ya, sí, sí. Ahora yo tengo 2 anuncios que dar. No sé si lo digo en español o en inglés, pero lo puedo
both,
hacer en los dos.
in both.
Sí, bueno,
In both, yes.
primero, sí, primero que estamos, ahorita tenemos un hackathon que está corriendo, lo lanzamos hoy. Se pueden ganar hasta $6,000 en el hackathon. Hay 6 categorías, pueden participar en cualquiera de esas 6. Cada una se lleva $1,000 de premio. Así que nada, es una semana con 6 categorías, $6,000 en total. El segundo anuncio es que también hicimos un acuerdo especial y estoy contento de decirle que todos los estudiantes de 4Geeks van a tener un mes gratis de Hero UI Chat del Pro Subscription, y así pueden utilizarlo sin ninguna restricción y sin pagar nada. Y pueden hacer todos estos proyectos e ideas que tienen en la mente, ¿no? Sin
that's great.
ninguna barrera. And then in English, we just launched a hackathon. It's called Hero Hack with 6,000 in total prizes. That's 1,000 for each winner across 6 different categories. I think it's a perfect opportunity to start by coding your applications and creating something amazing on Hero UI.chat. And second, we just created a special opportunity as well for the 4Geeks students, and we are giving all of you 1 month for free access on Hero UI.chat in the Pro plan. And I hope this also helps you to bytecode your applications faster.
Woohoo! Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Okay, well,
Thank you.
Coming, and this is exciting, and I'm gonna keep following the progress of Hero UI, and we're gonna use it at the course, and we'll tell
Thank
you
you.
all the feedback we can give you, and hopefully
Yeah.
keep using it forever.
Amazing. Yeah, looking forward to your feedback. We're constantly improving the platform. This is just the beginning. I think, yeah, we're ambitious programmers and designers, and we want to be the platform to create the best and most beautiful applications out there.
Of course. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's move on. We have
Bye-bye.
another exciting guest from Windsurf. So that's so cool. And another of the amazing platforms that are creating such great tools. So I wanted to thank you, Rohan, for coming. Rohan is software. It's called it's called a deploy engineer, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
And what does a deploy engineer do? Just as a quick.
Yeah, very good question. So we basically integrate Windsurf into a lot of our enterprise customers' workflows. So it's, we are supporting, anywhere from Fortune 500 companies to smaller mid-market companies to even startups, right? So my team in general works with larger enterprise customers. You've probably heard of them at least in the Fortune 50 companies. So,
yeah. And how was your story getting into Windsurf and before that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I guess I should take the opportunity to introduce myself. So to everyone, right? My name is Rohan Ramani. I'm a deployed engineer here at Windsurf, and I'm based out of Mountain View here in California. And my story of actually hearing about, these AI coding assistants, one was, I'm sure we've all interacted with, some type of large language model, probably in the form of something like ChatGPT or Perplexity, where we're actually seeing, answers to almost everyday problems simply because of the fact that the models are all trained in a plethora of training data, right? What has recently started to happen in the last couple of years is that these applications, rather than simply just answering questions on how to do homework problems for a lot of students these days, have started to get more applicationized. And so one of those applications is simply just programming, right? And, before we rebranded into Windsurf, we were Codium, and before that we were Exafunction. And what we realized was that, with Exafunction's core competency and infrastructure, we were able to take that and basically develop these large language models that would aid us in applicationifying our core competency in the programming perspective. And that's how Windsurf got to where we are today. And that's the story we're going with.
Amazing. And what's the how do you see, you are inside the company, so basically you can feel the vibe and how everything is moving and how what everyone's talking about it. And congratulations on the supposedly sale, because I haven't seen the founders talk about it yet, but it's like
the go-to-market team is just in the dark as you guys are, so I
Right.
can't. I'm not able to comment on.
no, of course, but I had to throw it there just to see. But yeah, so with the vibe and everything that's happening in San Francisco, like, what do you think it's going to be the future for software developers?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think to look at the future, it might help to look at how we got here, right? When development was somewhat new in the, post World War II era in the 50s and 60s, right? A lot of the development work actually interacting with live memory, taking data into and processing it in the ALU and building this concept of a CPU, that was all considered very innovative work, right? Today, what a lot of developers are effectively doing could be considered a lot of grunt work, right? And one thing that can always be solved with these software agents is how fast a lot of this grunt work can actually be finished. What we're seeing in the industry is, deployed engineers working on the field. We could talk about it in both like a macro perspective, which is, these Fortune 500 companies and how they're using Windsurf, as well as how, smaller mid-market and startup companies are actually using a platform like Windsurf, right? As far as these larger companies go, companies such as, I guess, NVIDIA, like a few others, just to name, a lot more code is actually being able to be shipped. One, because a lot of the code that developers inherently know how to write just takes them time to go and figure out, hey, my code is erroring out here. I might probably have to switch this. Although the general flow pattern of where we need to go in terms of the code development is actually well known, there's a lot of finicky things that might get in the way that is just taking up developer time, right? Another area that we should talk about is also code reviews, which, with our latest launch on Wave 8, we actually now have a more comprehensive code review tool as well that is integrated with GitHub, right? As more code is shipped, you are probably going to want to build out a better code review tool, larger CI/CD pipelines, and whatnot. And as far as a big migration towards shifting left, now, what does this exactly mean, right? If we somewhat abstract in the software development process, let's just say it goes from product managers to software engineers to the QA team, and then it gets shipped, right? Although it's a little bit more complicated than that. Because Windsurf, one, these models are trained on best practices, developers are writing better code, and they can use tools like Cascade to actually do code reviews before the code itself goes to the QA team. This means that the QA team is focusing a lot less on these miscellaneous and menial bugs, and they're looking at more core issues, which basically allows them to focus in on more of their resources, right? So in this case, it's really shifting left from the QA team to the core implementation engineers, right? There's also another way we're shifting left, which is, Alex, you talked about, these projects that are getting scrapped because, you're working on them for a while and they realize that the value might just not be there from the software project, right?
Yeah.
What a tool like Windsurf and Cascade really allow developers, and in this case, PMs or whoever's in charge of coming up with the product to do, is actually designing a type of MVP to actually gauge value of that product before it ever actually makes it into the hands of the software engineers to completely build out, right? This way, you can actually build out like a very minimally viable product. Say, hey, this is the value that it's creating, whether it's an internal tool, whether it's a commercialized tool, and then after it's actually gotten traction on that front, that's when you actually make its way towards getting built on a full scale, looking at edge cases and so on.
Right. So basically, if I try to interpret that into the job market, what you're trying to say is that developers are just able to do way more things than before, and maybe they're going to be being able to be more independent instead of having to use like such a variety of roles around the software developer.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. It also allows you to get more into like the depth of things, right? if we take something like data science, I know how like a k-nearest model works, right, in my head. But would I be able to off the top of my head like import in the correct scikit-learn library and then have the data formatted in like this way that only that Python function takes? That might not be something that I'm familiar with off the top of my head, but I know how the core data science principles actually work. So then it basically allows me to abstract the programming and really think about design and how we can actually solve a specific problem instead of doing and focusing on the grunt work it takes to solve that problem. And when we actually look at the micro stage, right, like looking at startups and looking at smaller level companies, there's particularly when we're looking at startups, there's not as much of a reliance on like a technical co-founder as much anymore, right? Usually, like when you're co-founding a specific company, there's especially in the Bay Area a lot, there's usually one person that comes up with the core idea that has the so-called business skills, right? The ability to get access to capital, connections on the industry and so on. And there's another co-founder that usually is able to do the raw building, the coding of the app or the website or the specific tool that they're trying to build. And there's far less of a reliance now on that technical co-founder, which means that more ideas will effectively get put on paper. They will get productionized.
Right.
Now, on the long term, whether this is a very good thing or something that could get the market to be inundated with, a lot of the apps that might just not have potential viability is a different thing. But it basically allows designers and thinkers to get their idea into paper, into fruition, without the need for someone to, an explicit person to go out and build it.
Right. Okay. Great. Cool. And so one we have just the last question that I want to take from the audience. I think Ashley Janier has been asking a bunch of interesting questions, and I think we may address one of those. It says, like, do you think Windsurf is a platform that can be used by people that are like interested in prototyping and doing products like that without having a software engineering background or software development background? And how would you use it if you have no idea about that, basically?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In fact, when Windsurf actually came out, a lot of the non-technical people here at the company really built out full-scale applications, dashboards, games, really all types of different applications without knowing a single line of Python or JavaScript or so on. So it certainly is possible to go from 0 to 1. And what it then allows you to do is actually get into the editor, learn how possibly code is created. You can also have Cascade explain the code that it's writing, so that maybe you don't have the core technical background, but a lot of the code today, looks somewhat like plain English, like designing a variable, right? Let x equals 0. I'm sure that you don't need a technical background to kind of figure out what that could possibly mean, right? When you're instantiating a variable or so on. Mm-hmm. So with Cascade, not only does building become easier, but possibly just understanding your code base overall.
And what if you hit a bug and it wasn't fixed at the first time? What would you do?
Yeah. Now, are we at the point where I'm gonna say confidently that Windsurf is gonna be able to take you from X to Y without any possible hallucination, without any possible bug introduced, right? I don't think we're there yet. If you do find a bug, the best way to do it is just to constantly iterate with Cascade, right? These models at the end of the day are only going to be as good as the training data in there. And even with models such as the ones that are coming out of OpenAI or Anthropic, there's going to be some faulty training data inevitably, because there's trillions of nodes of data that are being put into these models every day. So just keep iterating until I would say that you get to the stage that you want.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for coming, man. And I know that this was last minute, so thank you very much again for coming.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to answer a question in Spanish, but my 3 years of high school Spanish did not prepare me well.
Maybe you can ask Windsurf and he will answer it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. Thank you for coming then.
Of course.
So let's move on, Male, to the last part of the event where we're gonna be splitting the group in two groups. And Alisa, that is joining now, probably is Alisa there?
No, she's going to be on the meet.
Okay. See, okay. So they're gonna split in two groups. We just have like a 10-minute activity. We're gonna be giving Windsor coupons for everyone, and we're gonna be giving 4 gigs vibe coding course coupons as well. Well, just so you know, the reason we're here is because we're launching a vibe coding course. Sharing the link, and we're starting in 2 days in English, and we're starting in 7 days in Spanish. It's gonna be separate groups, so you're not gonna be mixing like today. This is the only event that it's bilingual, but all the other ones are gonna be completely separate. And here's the link for the course. We're gonna be going over windsurf, the rules, how to use it. A lot of Ashley's questions are going to be addressed. Like, your questions were very thorough and technical, so I think in a place like these workshops that we're going to be doing. By the way, the workshops for the course are already published, so you can see them and you can already join. But the materials and stuff, they're going to be private and only for the students that sign up to the course. So let me share here the link of the course, and then we'll switch to the networking so that we can start giving stuff away and getting to know each other. Especially people that are going to take the course should be coming, because the idea behind the course is, like I said, to launch an entire product yourself. So you're going to build everything. You're going to build a product from scratch yourself, and you're going to launch it. So give me a second, because I lost the tab. Are you still there? I think you are, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I cannot find the YouTube tab. So maybe you can share this for me, Mali.
Yeah.
Here's the link for the course. So yeah, so we're going to be launching an entire product. We're going to be starting from scratch. We're not going to try to do manual code. I'm going to try to create a method that will skip the manual code from you, and that you're able to deploy it and to launch it and have users, and maybe we make some money. Who knows? And with these coupon codes that we're releasing, basically the course pays for itself, because it's not very expensive, just to be honest. It's not a very expensive course. It's so cheap. So I think it's great, and it's a great opportunity. So I hope you guys take it into consideration and enjoying for the next workshop, that is going to be English only for English audience. And then the other one is going to be on the 7th. I think, no, not on the 7th, in 7 days for the Spanish one. But yeah.
Sorry.
Switch. Now,
404 el link.
A ver.
Wait.
Yeah, this one. Aquí está. Creo que le quité una A. So, entonces lo que estaba diciendo, que el curso va a estar en inglés y en español, pero separado. Vamos a tener 2 grupos completamente separados. Un grupo va a estar en inglés, un grupo va a estar en español, y vamos a hacer una aplicación desde cero. Vamos a construirla completa, sin programar, sino haciendo solamente vibe coding. Vamos a lanzarla, vamos a mercadearla y ver si nos ganamos unos centavitos, básicamente. Eso va a ocurrir durante el curso, así que les invito a que se unan, y que con los cupones que vamos a entregar, el curso se paga por sí solo, realmente, porque es un curso muy económico. Así que bueno, empecemos con el networking. Si quieres, Male, te dejo la palabra.
Vamos a esperar a ver si ahora sí le funciona el link. Let's wait.
You mean like the vibe coding one?
Yeah, guys, please tell us in the chat if you can access to the link and it's not broken anymore.
No, it's not. I just tested it on incognito.
Ok, voy a hablar en español esta parte.
Uh-huh.
Ahora nos vamos a dirigir a estos 2 links. If you speak English, go to the first link. Si hablas español, vayan al segundo link, en donde vamos a tener nuestras sesiones de networking. Van a ser sesiones cortas. Recuerden que van a estar separadas en inglés y en español, así que no se preocupen. Les voy a dejar también por aquí el link en el chat para que cualquier cosa puedan copiarlo y pegarlo. Pero es el mismo, solo cambia en inglés vibe, en español vibra.
Yeah, watch out for the misspells. There's an s.4gigs.co, so it's not com, it's co. Hay errores ortográficos que son reales y no, y son, el link está bien con esos errores, así que pónganlo tal cual como es.
Los estoy mandando por separado, por si acaso. Igual los tienen aquí en la pantalla. Y bueno, a los que quieran unirse, ya nos vemos por allá. Vamos a terminar la transmisión por acá.
I'll be in the English one, so see you on the English one.
Ok. Thank you, guys. Gracias, chicos. Nos vemos en la sesión de networking.